So first, welcome to Conversations about US Visa. I honestly thought it was important to do this tonight. I guess I've been planning to do it for a few weeks now. I am no expert on this. This is not legal advice. But I think it is important that we have these conversations just as Liberians, as people, and with some little experience with U.S. visa processes. But also, most importantly, recently, a few of us, or some of us, I think they've done this with other people, were invited to the U.S. Embassy and given some information about this that they wanted us to share with the public and to use our platforms to talk about this issue because it is a very serious issue. So I'm glad we're having this conversation tonight. Like I said, please send your comments, questions in the comment section. I'll be writing as I see them. But ask others to come on. I know quite a few people asked what time. I couldn't be specific with the time because I didn't know when I would leave work. But I also wanted to do this before all the different talk shows come on. Unfortunately, it's already 8 o'clock. So if you have to go, great. But this is something that I might do again. No guarantees. But I think it's important that we have this conversation. So basically, I posted the last time about the denial rate at 80%, 79, 80%. And fact checker, said they were going to fact it, and they did, and came back and confirmed that yes, our denial rate in Liberia is 80%. And what that means is if 10 people applied for US visa, 8 would on the average get denied. Yes, imagine that. If 10 apply for US visa, 8 would on the average get denied. And this is not good, but there are reasons. Now, regardless of all the things we can talk about, all the things we can do, eventually it also comes down to the discretion of the consular officer. It's the U.S., that the people country. They can decide who they want to admit and who they don't want to. But this conversation is really to just help people to avoid some of the pitfalls. So first, let's talk about the overstay for B1, B2 visas. Of course, there are overstay for student visas, F1Js and stuff. But B1, B2 visas is what they call the visiting visa. Visiting visa is given to non-U.S. citizens and residents to visit the U.S. So you won't go visit your mom, your pa, your family, your friends. You won't go for your sister's wedding or your niece or nephew's christening or graduation. If you just want to go and visit the U.S., business and tourism as well, which is B1, B2, that's the visa they give you. And it's what most Liberians apply for. And this visa has an overstay rate of close to 20% in 2023, which was like the 11th highest in the world. And in 2022, the overstay was close to 50%. So Liberia's overstay rate is very high. There are other countries overstay is 3%, 5%, 6%. So comparing that with 25%, 20%, 50%, 30%, yeah, there are other countries with the same high, overstay rate. But we're talking Liberia, right? Because what's happening now is people who want to go to the U.S. are getting denied because people who went to the U.S. for visiting, overstayed, didn't come back. And we'll talk about the two kinds of overstay, right? Overstay can be overstaying the time that the immigration officer gives you at the border. And the airport is also considered a border. Or overstay your visa and not coming back at all. So we need to talk to our people about overstaying. So overstay is one thing, Overstay is you've gotten the visa and you went to America and decided you're not coming back, or somebody told you don't go back, right? Or you decided to come back, but you came back long after the time you were given to come back or to stay in the US. But before overstay, some people even just get denied. So denial rate is about 80%. And we'll also talk about what are some of the reasons you may get denied a US visa. Overstays first, right? Overstay is very selfish. And I know a lot of people will not like it. A lot of people will not like to hear it. And I do want to, again, thank one of my brothers on Facebook who was very honest today under the post and said, look, this overstay thing has been going on for years. We benefited from it. My aunties, uncles, family members. So I really can't, beat it. But that was being honest. A lot of Liberians have overstayed, and some of them have gotten papers, residency, citizenship, and that's fine. But sorry if I'm not seeing your comments or your questions. I will not be able to write them down. For some reason, I'm not seeing comments coming in. And that was being honest. So it's established that we do that. We overstay. Now, the other kind of overstay is when you go to the border point, immigration, when you get to the airport, when you enter America now, they ask you, what did you come to do? How long do you plan on staying here? Blah, 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 stuff like that. Sometimes they'll tell you, they'll give you 3 months, 6 months, but they'll put a stamp on your passport. Before they used to stamp your passport, now they do the I-94 online, right? And it'll give you a time that you're supposed to be in the US. Don't overstay that time. Even if your visa is 1 year multiple entry, the time they give you to be in the US is the time you're supposed to be in the US. I will go further to say the time you told the consular office that you're going for. Sometimes you can ask, oh, I'm going for 2 weeks, I'm going for 3 weeks, I'm going for 1 month. If you think you're going for 2 weeks, tell them you're going for 3 weeks, because sometimes, at least, other things will happen. Somebody will say, oh, but come to New Jersey to see me, oh, come to Philadelphia to see me. And then you'll be like, oh yeah, my visa stay valid, I won't come. Try to stay within the time frame that you tell them you are coming for. If you don't stay in that time frame, you go there, you spend 3 months, you come back, that overstay. That's why some people can say, oh, but I didn't stay in America, I came back, and then when I apply again, they still deny me. Because you still overstayed. You just didn't stay in the US. So the tricky thing about overstay. Overstay is not your 1 year visa they gave you. So they gave you 1 year multiple entry visa. That's not the time you're supposed to be in the US for. The time you're supposed to be in the US for is the time that the immigration officer gave you at the border. You check your I-94. You can check it online now. And sometimes they'll tell you. Sometimes they will not. They'll stamp it or they put it, give it to you. You check online. You know your time frame. The time you tell the consular office, because you see that computer in the consular office, we'll talk about it more at the embassy when you go apply for your visa. Everything you tell them, they put it in that system and it's there. So if you told them at the window when you went for your visa that you're going for 3 weeks, and then you go, you spend 6 months, that overstay. Even if you come back, that overstay. So overstay can be staying there and not coming back to try to get your papers. Overstay can be staying over the time that they give you in the US to stay for. It's not your visa. That 1 year visa that they can say March 30th, 2023 to February 28, 2024, you say I get 1 year visa. That 1 year visa they gave you is not for you to go stay in the US for 1 year. That is overstay. And that's why some people say, oh, but I came back. I didn't even stay in the US. I came back when I went to apply again. They deny me. You overstay. So we need to understand the two different kinds of overstays, right? Now, overstays have consequences. People say, some people are asking, but why they can't go after the people that overstay, then we the one can suffer. Yes, there are consequences for the people who overstay. But they won't waste US taxpayers' money to go be looking for everybody who overstay. If they find you, there are consequences. If you fall through the cracks, it doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. So, for example, if they find you overstay, they'll punish you. And some of the punishment, deportation. They can deport you for overstaying. They can bar you from entering the US for up to 10 years. There are some people that will go America, they overstay. When they come back, they apply, they can't get a visa again for sometimes up to 5, 6, 7 years. They say, I apply, they deny me. They can bar you from entering the US for up to 10 years. You will not be able to apply for permanent residency. They make you unable for you to apply for a green card, that I want to call permanent residency. And they could revoke your visa. Because remember, your visa is valid for 1 year, but you overstayed. So if you overstay 3 months, 4 months, they can revoke your visa. And when you're in the US and they revoke your visa in the US, that means they're deporting you. If you came back and they revoke your visa, that means you can't use that visa again to go back to America. Even if you got multiple entries, they'll revoke it. So these are some of the consequences to overstaying. And it's serious. There are people who are bearing those consequences now, today, in Liberia. They can't talk it. They went to America before, they can't go back again. Because of overstay. And the embassy has strict confidentiality rules and laws and regulations that they're not going to say, oh, we barred Moriah Yeakula from entering the US for 10 years because she overstayed. Or, oh, Moriah Yeakula visa was revoked because she overstayed. Or, so they would not do it. But people in our society, they know they are bearing the consequences of overstaying their visas. And that's why overstaying your visa is not advisable. It is not advisable because what's happening now is that it's not just you who's overstaying that's getting affected. It's everybody else in Liberia. Because when they come, oh, sorry, how you can do the question without going on the stuff? Oh. When they come to looking at visa applications, it's in the back of the consular mind that the overstay rate for Liberians are high. So there's already a bias. They're already biased that you may likely not return to Liberia. And we'll go back to denial rates. Right now we're talking overstays, right? So when you overstay, and I said earlier, you're being selfish because you're only thinking about yourself. Oh, I come to America, I will come and hustle, I get my little job under the table, I find a way to marry somebody, I get my papers, or I say that I'll be here until my pass file for me or my intern file for me and stuff. You are affecting everybody else in Liberia who will end up becoming victims of deniers or will fall into that 80% denial rate because our overstay rate went up to 50%. For B1, B2. Student visas in 2022 was up to 32% of people who went for school and didn't come back, right? So those are the conversations we need to have. Now, the other part of overstay are the people in America. And I also want to be open to thank someone who commented on my post and say, Liberia, anybody come to America, I would encourage them to not go back. I will help them find papers here. And I say, you're part of the problem. But that's also being honest. Because people do that. Man, don't go back to that country. Stay here. We help you get a paper. So you're helping that one person, but you're not helping thousands of other Liberians here who will get denied. So even though this was something that we used to do a lot in the past as a people, to encourage people to stay. But when you go for visiting visa, you went there to visit the way you told the people you're going to the country to do. So when you go there and your friends say, man, stay, don't go back to that country. You can make way, you find way. You are damaging the chances of others here in Liberia who want to travel to the US for visit, for their sister's graduation, for their child's, niece christening, for their pa memorial, any reason that you really have to go to the US, you end up affecting all these other people. So those of you in the US who encouraging people to overstay or to not come back to Liberia at all, man, your visa at 1 year, where you rushing to go back to that country for? Stay another 3 months with us. Stay another 6 months with us. You can go back even in the 10th month. They give you 1 year. It's not true. It is what's on your I-94. Or I will go further to say what you told the counselor how long you are coming for. Because when you leave in the US, they can also document it in the system. So if you told the counselor you are coming for 1 month, you spend 6 months in the system. So overstays tricky. Now, if you have multiple entry visa in that 1 year period, multiple entry means you can go to the US multiple times within that 1 year. So you can use your visa multiple times. If you got a visa from December 2024 to December 2025, you go December or you go January, you spend 3 weeks, you come back. You won't go April for Easter, you spend 2 weeks, you come back. You won't go July for July 4th or July 26th, you spend 1-2 weeks, you come back. You won't go, you can do that because they've given you multiple entries. And so it's important to also check your visa to know whether it's multiple entry or single entry. Sometimes you say you're going for conference, they'll give you single entry, even though the time may be long. They might give you the visa for 6 months or 1 year, but it will say single entry. You use it one time, you go, you can't use it again. You can't go for conference, the conference finish, you come out to Liberia, then you say, oh, but my visa stay valid for next year. I'm going. You go, you buy a ticket, you go to the people country. By the time you get to that border, they will send you back because your visa has single entry. If your visa has multiple entries, you can go multiple times within the year it is valid for. That's valid. Somebody's asking, why is it other countries have 5-year visas, 10-year visas, and Liberia has 1 year visa? That's purely diplomatic. It is what they call reciprocity. That means Liberia can give Americans 1 year visa. So Americans give Liberia 1 year visa. Other countries can give Americans 5 years, 10 years. Liberia, America can give them 5 years, 10 years. It's reciprocity. That's, I think, mostly diplomatic foreign affairs. That's from that standpoint. But in terms of the 1 year, if they give you multiple entries, you can go to the US multiple times on that one visa. If they give you single entry, even if the time is long, you cannot go back to the US on single entry. You can only go back to the US on multiple entries on a 1 year visa. Okay. Any other questions on overstays? Because now we're coming to go to deniers, the 80% rate. And I don't want to stay too long on this live. Maximum 1 hour, hopefully. Any other questions on overstays? And under Trump, it's becoming even tougher. Immigration has become tougher under Trump. So you have to be careful with overstaying. You have to be careful with overstaying your visa, with staying in the US, trying to get papers. Very careful, because it's gotten tougher and their own immigration issues really tough. But the bottom line is Do not overstay your visa. And overstay is not what the time, not the time of the length of the visa. It's not, oh, I got 1 year visa. Overstay is what the immigration officer at the airport gave you. So even if you have 1 year visa, they might put in on your I-94 6 months, 3 months. Make sure you know that time. It is the time you're there for. Don't say my visa valid. I can stay here until the 11th month and go back. No. The same way in Liberia, we can say, can't spend time different from can't stay with me. That is the same way the American people visa looking. Go visit different from go live there. They can't tell you to go live there. If you don't go live there, they got different kinds of visa for it. They got an immigration visa for that. What they're giving you is non-immigrant visas. And so, do not overstay on your visas. If they give you multiple entries, you can use that same visa. You come back, you go back again. If they give you single entry, that's single entry. Now, let's talk about denials. Denials is where, we talk about overstays as we should, but denials is really where I feel sorry for more people, because I think overstay is a decision that you make or that your family makes or friends make for you, and you knowingly violate the U.S. immigration laws and processes, you know. Denials, on the other hand, most people get denied. Sometimes they don't even know what they're doing wrong. So let's talk about it. The denial rate is 80%, as I said earlier. And that means if 10 people or 100 people went to the embassy for visiting visa, 80 will get denied on average. 80. That's a lot. That's a high denial rate. We have one of the highest denial rates in the world. Why are Liberians getting denied? Let's talk about them, because I took some notes. One, most Liberians get denied for things as simple as what we call misrepresentation at the consular window. Okay, first starts with the application. The U.S. application form is long. I've filled it up a lot of times. It got to a point where my information was saved in my application. But then recently when I went, I think they changed their website, and all my information was done. I had to redo everything, and it's a lot of work. So the U.S. application is time consuming, and it's a lot of information you have to give. Somebody's asking if the multiple entry or single entry is written in the passport. It's written on your visa. So your visa will tell you M or S, multiple entry or single entry, right? So when you apply for a U.S. visa, misrepresentation is the most common reason sometimes people get denied. And what is misrepresentation? Lying. Or sometimes even if you're not lying, the context in which you are giving the information. And even though there are cultural, differences between us and the U.S., for example, we call our cousins sisters and brothers, even though there's not blood relations. They understand that because, the U.S. Embassy got consular officers around the world, so they understand that. So if you're doing it not out of intentions to deceive, they will know. But if you do not have intention to deceive, they will also know. And so the first thing is on your application, you have to say the truth. And sometimes the truth will get you denied. But it's better that the truth gets you denied now, and later on, when you've worked on that issue that got you denied, you can go there. Then to lie and they deny you, and then they ban you from going to the U.S. for 10 years. So it's better to get denied on the truth than to get visa on a lie And then they later on find out the lie. And when they find out the lie now, you're in problem. So, somebody say, how do you know you're being denied? They will tell you, ma'am, sir, you don't qualify for a U.S. visa at this time. You can try again later. Then they can give you, before they used to give you one A4 paper telling you can appeal, you can do this, but they will tell you at the window if they're not giving you a visa. Ma'am, sir, you don't qualify for a U.S. visa at this time. Okay. But that's at the window. But before you get to the window, you got to fill in your application form online. Sometimes people go to internet cafes. Internet cafes, third party helping you to do your application, that's fine. Because if you're on an application, they can ask you, did you fill this application up yourself or were you assisted by someone else? You can say, yeah, you're assisted by someone else. But don't let anybody at internet cafe tell you to go get papers from what the place they get on education ministry. World Trade Center. Fake documents will get you denied. Fake documents, because they check at the archives, they check at WIAC, they check at the courts. It's not just when you tell them or you submit, they do their own background checks. They verify. So if you lie or if you put fake documents, they will know. More often than not, they will know. So you have to be able to accept the fact that, you know what? I will talk the truth. If the truth will make me go to America today, maybe it will make me go to America tomorrow. But if you lie, that lie will make you. They will either ban you from ever going to America, ban you for 10 years, and you're just being a problem. So, when they ask you questions on the application form, answer it truthfully. On the application form, they can also ask you, have you been denied U.S. visa before? So people can be scared. They say, 10 yes. Say yes. Because if you say no, they know you've been denied before. And the thing about lying is, it tells the consulate officer that you're not trustworthy. How can they trust you to come back? You get it? So if you lie on your application form, or if you attach false documents or fake fraudulent documents to your application form, or to your process, what would make the consulate believe you that when you say you going visit to come back, they will say, yeah, you're coming back? You've already lied to them. So you understand why lying is not good. Lying about your relationships. When you lie about relationships, you are lying on your application. Your uncle sending for you, you say that your pa. Even though you know that not your pa, but you won't make a relationship so thick that you say they can't deny me from going to see my pa. Say that your uncle. Because here's what you don't know. Especially if you reapply. When you send your application form to the system, everything you tell them is in the system. When you go to the embassy, you do your fingerprints. You start with your left hand, full. You start with your right hand, you're full. You do your 2 thumbs. They got your fingerprints. Anything you say is in our system. Everything you put in your application form is in our system. So if you put one thing in your application form, you set your appointment. You go for your appointment. You go to the window, whether that window 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. And you meet a consular office and they ask you a question. Assume that every question they're asking you about your application, they already know. Because it's in the system in front of them. So when you put one thing in your application thing, you say one thing in front of the consular office, you likely get denied. Lying about your travel plans will get you denied. Lying about your travel plans will get you denied. You know you're going for medical. You say you're going. Somebody said they missed me on spoon. I think the third person telling me that. We'll talk about spoon later on. Lying that you're going to visit and you know you're going for medical. When you go do your medical, the people you're going to medical with, they can put the information in the system. That in the US, everything is computerized. They will know. Lying, this one, I think the Trump has become more stringent on it. Lying, you're going for graduation and you're going to deliver baby. Lying about your travel plans will get you denied. Or even if you do go, when you come back, you may not be able to go back. Concealing your identity. Some people, when they get denied the first time, and thank God the U.S. Embassy has stopped people from using glasses on their pictures and stuff, right? People will get denied the first time. The next time, they will go change their hairstyle, wear glasses, try to change their face. Your fingerprint is there. So you can call your hair bald hair. You can dye your hair from gray to black. You can do whatever to change your identity. You go back to the consular office. You're doing that fingerprint. That fingerprint will bring all your information up. So there's no need to hide your identity. There's no point to lie. So when you're doing these things, before you even get to the consulate window, they already have your information. You filled out the form. So on that form, everything you put in that form, and you see the last thing you will check on the form is that you are acknowledging that everything you're saying is the truth on that form. And they ask you a lot of questions. They also got a list of questions on the form that people can just check. No. Sometimes you gotta check. Gotta ask you if you're involved in terrorism, I think. If you're involved in trafficking. If you're involved, if you was a child soldier or you fought, in a war before. If your family or parents or anybody, they can have questions. Have been convicted, if you have a criminal conviction, if you, all of those questions, they're not just no. You got to check. If you are, you say yes. The truth. Because if you don't, they will know. So lying is one of the biggest reasons people get denied. And lying have similar consequences with overstaying. They can put a lifetime ban on you. Of course, they can deny you visa. They can revoke your status if they find out, if you lied and went, and then you got papers, you got status or residency. They can revoke it if they find out years later. They can deny you citizenship if you apply for citizenship. And they find out that you lied before to get visa or to get residency, they can deny you citizenship. So lying has consequences as well. Misrepresentation has consequences as well. And the other part that I wanted to talk about with denial is also strong ties to Liberia. Unfortunately, most of us don't have strong ties to Liberia. Strong ties to Liberia means you get something that you will come back here for. Because of the economic situation, because most people started life late, because of certain, personal reasons and things. Most people don't have strong ties. They don't have a job. They don't have, real property. Basically, they don't get anything that keeping them here. Their families in the U.S. or out of the country. But it differs across the individual. It depends on your situation, your circumstances. But you got to show strong ties that you will come back to, right? So that is also a reason why you may get denied. Oh, I won't go for my burial, my niece christening, or my nephew graduation and stuff. But they ask you, do you have a job? Yeah, I have a job. They've already asked you anyways on the application. And even on the application, they can ask you for your salary. You got to put it there. They see that you're not making enough, or you don't have like a job that can keep you here. You have a child also, you're not married, or sometimes you're married, but your family in the U.S., you have a child, or your mom's, or your parents here in Liberia, they know culturally you can leave your child with your mom or your pa. You don't, like different questions they will ask you to just kind of try to figure out whether you have strong ties to Liberia, right? And you don't, then you fit the category of people they presume who will not come back. And it's difficult for them to give you a visa. So, lying, misrepresentation gets you denied. Overstaying is also another issue. But a lot of people go to the embassy and sometimes they're even scared during the immigration process, during the interview process, to speak confidently, because they watch your body language and everything. The thing about saying the truth, you will say it because it's the truth. When you start jittering and shaking and keeping your head down and you don't want to look in the person's face, and sometimes it's just our culture and nature, but all of those things, again, at the discretion of the consular office to take it into consideration. So you say your truth, you say it confidently, you give your information. They may give you the visa, they may not give you the visa. There is no fixed method or fixed formula to say if you do A, B, C, D, you will definitely get a visa. No. All we're saying is avoid some of these pitfalls. Do not lie. Do not use fake documents. Do not, lie about relationships. Do not lie about your identity. Those things show proof of strong ties to Liberia. And it could help you. And sometimes if you've traveled before, some people, their first trip, they wanted to go to America. Maybe if you went to other countries and came back, it helps. It shows that you went and came back. The last thing before we close, most people say, oh, if I go to America and get my green card, I come back to Liberia, I will not go back again. That's not necessarily true. That's not necessarily true. Most times, you can, if you come back, you're literally opening the door to go back again. Because you've established that you go, you come back. You've established credibility with them. It's that credibility that keeps you going. And circumstances could change and it could still deny you in the future. But your credibility helps. I said I was going for 3 weeks. I went for 3 weeks. I came back. It's in the system. I said I was going for school. My school program was for 4 years. I went, I came back. I said I was going to do my master's. It was for 1 year. I went, I came back. And I posted today on Facebook, personally. I've gone and come back. But I could apply tomorrow and they'll deny me. Circumstances could change. But the point is, build that credibility. Create that credibility with them. When you go, you come back. You can always go back on your multiple entry. And if your visa expires after a year, you can apply for another visa and they'll likely give it to you. But let us keep in mind that when you go and overstay, it's not just you're putting at risk, you're putting everybody else back in Liberia who who would want the opportunity to go to the US at risk of being denied. And if you lie, you put yourself at risk of being denied or being banned from going to the US again. So everybody wants to go to the US. We all, want the opportunity, even if it's not to stay there, but to visit. We want the opportunity to go there and come back. You have to be able to just do these simple things. There's no guarantees that you may get a visa, but it increases your chances and it mitigates the risk of being denied. So we'll take some questions, got a few more minutes, and then we'll go. We may do this again in the future, maybe with a different group of people, but it's really important that one, you're honest on your application. You don't get degree, you don't get degree. You don't do WIAC, you don't do WIAC. And this is mostly for visiting visa as well. The student visa, there's DV, the same things, right? But when you're applying to the US Embassy for any visa, honesty, truth. Sometimes your truth can be detrimental to yourself, but it is your truth. Own it. And I'll close on this note where I remember when I came back from the US in 2006 from the conference. It was no requirement for that, but my pa, I remember I was 17. He said, go back to the embassy, tell them you now come back. And I couldn't understand why they may want them to go back to the embassy and tell people not come back. The papa, no, why? He said, I said go back to the embassy and he had the driver drop me off at the embassy to tell the people not come back. It was so annoying, so funny, but it was helpful. I mean, I don't encourage it. I don't suggest it. The problem will let you enter right now at this time if you don't have an appointment. But it was just basically trying to establish credibility that when you came back, It's a hard decision, especially if you don't have anything here in Liberia. But you may not be as lucky as those who fall into the cracks. And there are many of our family members, friends, relatives, co-workers who may have gone to the US, overstayed, gotten their papers, and you see that and say, yeah, but you don't know what consequences they may bear later. And even if they don't bear any consequences at all, it doesn't mean go ahead and say sheep luck and go luck in the same. You put yourself in that position, you could get deported, you could get banned for life, you could get banned for 10 years, a lot of different things, consequences you could bear. So, if there are any questions, if there are no questions, we're going to wrap up in like 5 minutes. But that's really it. And I thought it was important to talk about it today because I also see that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs put out a post today about the same issue. I've talked about it in the past, and I've planned, since the meeting with the embassy to do some of these live, shows or to make some posts about it, just to create the awareness because everybody deserves to go to the US or deserve to travel. Let's not, affect other people's chances. To be honest, everybody wants to go and live in America. In fact, people say I was American citizen. I think 2 or 3 persons asked me today on my page. I'm not, but I do go to the US often because I apply for visas when I want to go to the US, and when I'm done with what I'm going to the US for, I bring myself back here. It's easier for people to say, stay, we'll find you papers, we'll get married, you do this, you do that, go join the army, go to the one. Kolo and Sheila, not listen. Do not do it. Come back home. There are other ways you can find to go to the US if you want to live. You go to school, you can go to school there, you can get a job, you can get on work visas. There are different other ways. Talk to an immigration attorney, find your ways, your pathway to migrating to the US. Please don't go on visiting visa and stay there. your auntie, your sister, your niece, everybody here who want to go to America again may get affected by that. Let's talk to our people, share the word. If you're in America, stop telling people stay. I can want woman here, she can give you job, she pay you on the table. You can be working here. Stop it. Stop it. Encourage people to return so that our denial rate can reduce. So it can reduce. And if you deny, good, someone just mentioned. Yeah. If you deny, you can always fix the issue and reapply and you get accepted. So maybe you don't have a stable job today. You don't have a family, you're not married with kids. You don't have a bank account or properties. But in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you can get all those things. And you can go and apply again and you will get it. But like I said, there is no fixed formula to say when you do A, B, C, D, you might get it. There are people who have gotten it, came back, got it, denied. There are people who got it, who didn't get it before, they reapplied, they got it. So it's just really about building credibility. The one thing I would say, don't lie. Because they know. It's in the system. Be honest on the application. Even if somebody is helping you fill out the application, make sure they put in the correct information there. You don't get college degree, then law that you must get college degree to go to America. Don't lie. Because it's those simple things that you lie about that will get you denied. We're hitting our 1 hour mark and we're about to call it a night. So let me know if we should do this again. If there's anything new that you learned, if you already knew it, please share the word. Let's help more of our people get the opportunity to go to America. America is not heaven on earth, but it is a good place to go. It is a good experience to have. And everybody deserves to have that experience. Don't spoil it for your friend. They gave you your own opportunity to go to America. You go there. That you're the only person that wants greener pastures. Everybody too wants greener pastures. If you go to America, you find a man, you find a woman who will marry you. There's a process to go. They got a different visa for that. Fiancé visas. They'll get engaged. You come back. The person will be there to file for you. Some of those things are even expedited. They're fast. But don't go there and say you stay, you find men to marry, you find woman to marry. Don't do it. Because it is affecting us in Liberia who go to apply for visas and get denied. It is simple to think you have this opportunity, you won't lose it. Nobody's stupid here. So please share the word. Let's stop violating the U.S. visa rules. A friend can return because Liberia is helping. Yeah, that's a possibility. There's also asylum process. If you meet the requirement to get asylum because you're being haunted in your home country for whatever reason, you can seek asylum. But the point is, do not overstay your visas. Do not overstay the time you say you are going there. Do not lie on your applications. Do not stop other Liberians from having the opportunity to also visit the U.S. Because what you're basically doing is closing the door when you enter. When you overstay, you're closing the door to other people behind you. after you've entered. And that's being selfish. That's you looking only after yourself and to heck with everybody else. So let's not close the doors to others behind us because we've entered. You enter, you go back outside. You come back inside, you go back outside. Don't go and lock the door to others, because that's basically what it is. So thank you everybody for joining. I appreciate it. Hopefully we'll do this again sometime in the future. If you want to relocate to the U.S., seek legal advice from a U.S. immigration attorney and know what the pathways are for migration to the U.S. You want go visit America, you come for student visa, go visit and come back. Can't visit me, but you can spend time different for can't live with me. I hope this helps you. I hope it helps someone else. And I hope our overstay rate can reduce, so our denial rate can reduce. We need more people to go see the where people country. You there, you enjoying yourself, other people gotta go see it too and come back. Don't close the door on them. Thank you for watching. And lastly, I know people talk about the hard time and the hardship. They're not the U.S. government problem, they're our government problem. And it's true. Hardship, hard time will make people make those decisions, but hardship, hard time will not make you be, should not make you selfish, should not make you lie, should not make you manipulate the system, violate the system, and sometimes it does. But it is our government's responsibility to make Liberia livable, habitable, and better for us. So the not a people problem if your country hard. They made their country better for their citizens, and they're still trying to do things to make it better for the citizens. So don't use it as an excuse. Everybody in Liberia catching harder, one way or the other. But if you go visit, go and come back. If you want to relocate to America, try to get an immigration attorney. People that tell you, say, stay. Ask them, you know any immigration attorney I can talk to? Give me their number, let me talk to them, let me see what the process is. But don't stay. Talk to the attorney, they will tell you the different pathways of moving to the U.S. So thank you for being with me tonight. I gotta go. Okay, finish. Finish.